Hello everyone. So it's me, Donovan here, or Bro Man. I'm just doing this video just because I want to give a more in-depth alternative to The Last Jedi, which is probably my least favorite Star Wars movie. I mean, when I look at this to the prequels and everything, it does not compare. So yeah, I just want to say so on that. Um, but anyways, I'm just going to give a thing off of here of like the. It sort of follows the original plotline, but like I have removed like a few things out of it. Um, like there's just a lot with this movie that can go on in totally like in several different ways. Um, Especially with like Rey's character and that whole throne room scene and everything. But I have notes written down here, so uh, this is just gonna be like a part one of I don't know out of how many and stuff. I mean, the only thing okay, so like following just like mainly the original thing with like I don't know if I would have had it where those transport ships would have gotten destroyed or something like that. I probably would have written that out just because it doesn't make sense. Um, but anyways, I don't want to get into it. I'm just gonna follow what I have here. Okay, so the whole opening scene with the car. So this is what I wrote. I said like what I wrote down here. When they're evacuating the planet, the First Order arrived to destroy what remains of the Resistance. Which technically, I don't know if they technically would be the Resistance, since the Hosnian system, with the Hosnian Prime, being the capital at the time of this New Republic, gets destroyed, and the New Republic Starfleet is destroyed. I'm thinking that the Resistance would become the New Republic Starfleet. You know, it's kind of they're technically. I don't know why people say they're like a terrorist group or anything like that. They're really not. They're sort of like a militia, really. That's what the Resistance is. They're technically a militia. They're a militia force, just operating on their own and stuff. Going against the First Order because the New Republic Starfleet, I guess has like a treaty or something like that or something, or they don't believe the rumor that the First Order is the exact threat, which is why the Hosnian system gets destroyed. Just because politics and stuff. So, which politics don't do a whole lot of good these days, anyways. But so I said when they're evacuating the planet, they arrive, and the First Order, instead of just shooting down at the planet, which makes no sense because they see that the fleet is right over there. It's like they have the dreadnought, which is technically like a rip off of the Eclipse class Star Dreadnought, or you could say the Sovereign class Super Star Destroyer, because they're pretty much those two ships are the same thing. They have the super laser, so that it goes down and destroy planets or something like that, or at least like bases and stuff. And pretty much that's what the Minotaur, was it 4 class Dreadnought, Siege Dreadnought, is pretty much the same thing off of that. Which I was looking on Wikipedia, and this is the weird thing. This thing's got deflector shields. So, do they have to power down the shields in order to power up the dreadnought? It's like super laser, because that's not really explained. Which it doesn't make sense. Like if that was the reason, then they should have said that's the reason why they don't have shields. And those turbo lasers on there, for some reason, just can't hit pose X-Wing, which is just weird. It plays on the whole thing, they suck at hitting anything, but, you think they would have had something where they could have done that. But, anyway, so they should have started firing immediately on the Resistance fleet. They also dispatch TIE fighters, and the Resistance fighters, are dispatched as well. And right here you have a space battle, pretty much a better one, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. And so so the mandatory 4 class seats right now, I actually wrote it here, would be brought in afterwards after this is going on. And it's there not to destroy the base. It's there to destroy the fleet. It just doesn't make sense. You have everyone pretty much off the planet. What's the point? I mean, that that they're not going to go back there. All you would have to do is just leave a couple resurgent class Star Destroyers at that planet and stuff, and you can at least have one of them to send out a call to the rest of the First Order fleet. But anyways, moving on. So General Leia sends Poe Dameron with his squad and Y-wing bombers, or some new type of bombers, but not these, because these bombers are representations of B-52 bombers, because it's representing the whole World War II stuff, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense really, because bombers today really are they're pretty capable of going out on their own. Like our stealth bombers that we have today, they're pretty fast, and the way that they're designed is that way they're not on radar. I don't know I don't know what it is with these old retro look things and stuff. It's completely stupid in my opinion. So I would just say just Y-wing bombers or new type of bombers, but that aren't slow as hell, because especially when they drop the bombs in space, and it's like you can only drop stuff unless there's gravity, unless they explain some way why these bombs can drop or whatever. That just doesn't make sense. So the First Order, which this is something that I came up with because in Star Wars, in the original trilogy, there's the Rebel Alliance's best starfighter pilot is Wedge Antilles, pretty much. Luke is pretty good, but Wedge is the best. And I always I was just thinking this one day, I'm like, why didn't the Empire have one of their best starfighter pilots go after him? It was weird that they didn't have like an interceptor or whatever, because I think that was like their fastest ship, and it was their best one. And I always thought it was weird that they didn't have their best pilot go after this guy, because it would have just been where these two play off each other. So I pretty much put in the First Order sends their best fighter pilot and his or her squad. It's it's one of those things. It's men, women. You can have it either or for one of these genders. With his or her squad of fighters after Poe and his squad, and the Dreadnought takes out at least 1 or 2 Resistance fleet ships, and then its shields are destroyed, and perhaps one of Poe's fighters or an A-wing does a kamikaze, kind of like in Return of the Jedi, or they just decimate it. I think well, I put it where it actually says goes into the bridge of the Dreadnought, or the Y-wings bombers complete their task. So it can be taken one of those 2 ways. Probably just be easier though if it's just the Y-wing bombers just doing that, because then it's original. You're not really copying anything. It's just them doing their bombing rate, and that's it. And there's more than one of these out there, but I don't know why they didn't bring in another one. And I'm just kind of confused why there's no shields on this ship. It doesn't make sense. But they got to make sense of it, where it's either the shields are getting powered down, or they get destroyed by the Y-wing bombers or something like that. But these, I'm just throwing those out, those other ones. So here we go to part 2 at Acto. Continuing from the cliffhanger in The Force Awakens, Rey hands the Skywalker lightsaber over to Luke, who looks at it, and in the background we hear things from like A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, kind of like his little journey and stuff with the lightsaber, which I think would have been cool. I think that was something that's missing from this movie. He's looking at this, and I think in this moment we can either see flashbacks with him, or we just hear the sounds and stuff and everything, his memories and stuff with this lightsaber. I think that should have been something that should have happened in this movie, but Rian Johnson is retarded. Anyways, so he then looks up Rey and returns it to her, saying that the lightsaber belongs to her as it has now chosen its new owner. Just with the kyber crystal and stuff in it, they resonate with the Force. You guys, like, everyone needs to watch the Clone Wars and Rebel show, because actually those shows do go into the mythology of the Force. It does expand on it. And I was just watching, like, I got my TV paused here on this 5-hour, like 6-hour podcasting or like stream of Jody's Corner. And this whole thing with J3 and stuff and them not understanding lightsabers. Lightsabers have a button on them. That's how they activate. It's not the Force and stuff that activates them. I don't know. To them that makes sense, but it's actually there's an actual button, especially with the Phantom Menace and stuff and everything. And every toy lightsaber they get has a button. That's because the actual lightsabers have buttons on them. So, I mean, and also they were talking about how Finn, the movie The Force Awakens was hinting at, that Finn could be a Jedi or something like that. The Force is with him, but because they mistake this scene where, Kylo Ren looking over at Finn. He's only looking over at him because he sees, like, that, there's conflict within him and stuff, and that there's something wrong, that he doesn't, like what's going on and stuff, that Finn is questioning the ethics and everything of the First Order and stuff, and, if it's worth all this and stuff. That's why he's looking over at him. He's like, I'm not sure about this guy and stuff. He's not sensing the Force in him. Like, Finn's not a Jedi. There's no Force in him. I mean, I would've been fine with it. If Finn could become like the next Mace Windu or something like that. That's kind of like what I was hoping for, that he would just be like this next Mace Windu, or like he would be a descendant of Mace Windu. I thought that would have been cool, but anyways, but yeah, he's not a Jedi. There's no Force. Sometimes, times people get things a little bit whacked. And then I was hearing about how there was this whole racism thing where, from these guys, how the whole Rey and Finn thing, well, Rey doesn't have any emotion. Like, it's displayed through the entire movie of The Force Awakens. She doesn't exactly like him. She just sees him as a friend. Like, I understand Finn liking her and stuff, like, because Daisy really, it's like, the character Rey and stuff is really attractive and all that. But, like, she just sees him as this guy and stuff, just as a friend, like, nothing more, But, it is what it is, the fact that, they think that there's this whole thing where, they have them apart on purpose or something. Well, Rey has to go look for Luke in the first place to do her training and stuff and all that. Although, I mean, and some people think, like, well, why didn't Leia go? It's like, well, because Leia's got to stay and keep in charge of the Resistance and stuff and prepare for the First Order and all that. I'm not exactly sure. This is weird. At the end of The Force Awakens, like, Leia has a certain hairstyle, but then The Last Jedi comes and she has another one all of a sudden. I'm like, did she switch hairstyles, like, between that? Like, I don't know. But anyway, so Luke asks Rey how she found him, and she replies by the map that he left behind, and asks how she got there. She tells him that she was brought there by Chewbacca on the Millennium Falcon, and then he asks, where Han is and stuff, and Rey informs him that, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, had murdered his father on Starkiller Base, and that the Hosnian system was destroyed. And then, instead of cutting off, we need to see Luke's reaction, his emotional reaction and stuff, because Han was his best friend. Like, it's like, you hear anything that, any person or animals that you love, there's emotion through there. You're gonna cry and stuff. Like, one, day, I don't know, I heard, well, actually, I don't have a best friend, unfortunately. I used to, and then we stopped talking and stuff, and he lives back in Washington State, and I live here in Arizona, so, yeah. Anyways, but you know, it's like if you guys have your best friend and you hear that person die, I mean, you're gonna cry and stuff or something like that. We should have seen something from Luke, hearing that his best friend was killed and stuff, and you know, something about the Hosnian system or whatever, or you know, at least. But anyway, so, and then we go back to the Resistance fleet. You know, we see Kylo Ren on the elevator. He's going there to meet Snoke, and he's disappointed him, you know, that he failed to stop. Well, I mean he didn't exactly lose to Finn. He beat Finn. He sliced like along his spine or something like that, at least. But he did lose to Rey. You know, and I hear the argument from a lot of people. He took a shot, you know, which was used to cause the explosion. Okay, with the whole bowcaster thing, that argument is so stupid. You have to charge the bowcaster in order to cause an explosion like that. Chewie just did a small like click and stuff. There's a thing where I think Han, like if in the Force Awakens, I think there's this hum thing or something like that, you know, where he charges it up and shoots it at the ground, which causes an explosion. But you know, Chewie just shoots at him, yeah, at Kylo and stuff. So, I mean, you know, there's that whole thing there and stuff. But you know, what was it? You know, Vader gets the slash on him and stuff, and that doesn't slow him down or anything like that. Like he, you know, at least beats Luke, which, you know, Darth Vader's a threat and stuff. But anyways, you know, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the TV with Jody's corner thing and you know, looking at the whole conversation they had about Darth Vader not being an imminent threat. He is the guy that you don't want to come across. But anyways, so yeah, you know, the battle he had with Finn and Rey, you know, at least losing to Rey, is saying that he clouded his judgment and didn't concentrate well enough in defeating Rey. You know, he pretty much let his guard down. You know, but Rey connecting with the Force and all that stuff just doesn't make sense, anyways. You know, she hears the whole thing about the Force and she concentrates, and then that's how she's able to best him. Like, no, you need to actually have this. You know, you need to be trained, at least in one form of lightsaber combat, in order to win something. You know, because pretty much the Force in a way. You know, if you're trained, but you call on the Force and stuff, that helps like amplify your combat, like the things that you're skilled on and stuff. But you know, Rey doesn't have any real training to defeat Kylo Ren. Like, I know everyone's probably gonna go back to that argument. Well, she was, you know, on Jakku since she was a kid and stuff, surviving and taking on. Yeah, average dudes. Like, that's not an argument. She was besting, you know, she was fighting against average people and stuff. You know, but she didn't know anything about the Force. Maybe she heard rumors about it, myths and stuff of like what it could do, but you know, never did she show any display of her Force abilities on that planet and stuff while she was there. But you know, she's such a Mary Sue. But yeah, so Snoke tells him to leave the chamber and prepare his Knights of Ren for a secret task, which I'll get into a bit. So anyway, so Finn wakes up from having a nightmare about his friends getting killed by the First Order, which instead of him just sleeping like this and then just waking up like out of the blue, which is retarded. Like, pretty much that cut would leave you out for like a good couple days or something like that. But anyway, so Finn wakes up from having a nightmare about his friends getting killed by the First Order. The most gruesome part is seeing Rey being defeated by Kylo Ren. And then we see Captain Phasma approach Finn and aim her blaster, or a blaster pistol, and shoot him. Then the screen goes red for a second, and then he wakes up sweating. I mean, that would have been pretty cool. Like him having that nightmare and stuff, and just seeing the worst things happen, and then the one officer that he hates and stuff, and then seeing Captain Phasma just go standing over him, just like, poof, and then there's a red screen. Like that should have been in this movie. Like that whole thing, just why it wasn't, I don't know. Like, maybe it would have been too dark, but you know, it has that internal conflict and struggle and stuff, at least with Finn. So, and then yeah, he goes up to, you know, screen goes red for a second, then he wakes up sweating. Next to him is a medical droid, and on the other side is Poe Dameron, you know, because it's his buddy and stuff. He wants to make sure he's okay. Finn is asking Poe about what is going on. Where's Rey? Poe answers his questions and tells him to calm down from, you know, to be calm from the injury that he received, which is pretty severe. You know, he pretty much just tells him, hey, like, you know, we're leaving and stuff. You know, we just had this battle. You know, he explains the situation and stuff. It's not like, I know we have a million questions and stuff and all that, but we don't have time to answer that in this movie. I'm like, like the fuck, like, you can make the movie 2 hours and 45 minutes. You could have added an extra 15 minutes just to explain some stuff. Of course, the movie just, it does not know where it's trying to go. So yeah, he's got to be, you know, he's got to stay on that bed and stuff. He doesn't just come off with the water. I'm like, that's just, like, what? But anyway, so, and then General Leia calls for Poe, and he leaves Finn, who will be looked after by the medical droid. Poe heads up to the bridge with BB-8, and as they drop out of hyperspace, the First Order fleet arrives as well, just behind them. The First Order dispatches all TIE fighters, and Poe gets into his X-Wing, and another space battle ensues. Finn is, of course, freaking out about what's going on. You know, he's like, what the hell? And concludes that that the First Order must have tracked him through hyperspace. Wait, did I write down why that happened? I just want to make sure I did, because I think it was an afterthought I had that I was going to put down. Oh, wait. I forgot this part. This is before I wrote this down. Okay, so before going on to Acto, so the Resistance fleet flees, but a TIE fighter is able to shoot a tracker on the Resistance capital ship for them to be tracked through hyperspace. General Hux informs Supreme Leader Snoke that they will continue their pursuit of the Resistance fleet. And I think what happened with that hyperspace thing, that machine that we see, my only guess, because they never explain it, and I hate having to think of answers and stuff like this, but I think what happened is that that ship that General Hux is on must have scanned it somehow. Like, they scanned that ship, and so they send the data or whatever, the scan stuff, to the thing that's able to track them through hyperspace. Which, I guess that's possible, or I don't know, I'm trying to think of how that would work, but, you know, I like my sci-fi and stuff and all that, but anyways, so getting back to the other thing. So the TIE fighters and their bombers take out a frigate and head to the capital ship, and Poe and his squad go in to intercept him. The one TIE fighter pilot opposite of Poe, his equal, you know, go into a dogfight while the bombers are taking out the shields on the Resistance capital ship. Finn orders the medical droid to make a quick stitch job on his back so he could help out with the space battle. You know, so pretty much like he gets like these patches and stuff, like, which is a gruesome part and stuff for him or whatever. You know, maybe he has to like wear a suit or something like that. Maybe a suit similar to like that of Dead Space, something like that. You know, that has that back to tank thing, or whatever, like that health meter. So maybe he wears something like that, perhaps, and he wears that through the film. I mean, hey, it could work. I mean, all they would have to do is like, you know, show something like kind of like Doctor Octopus, you know, with the in Spider-Man 2, something like that. You know, they gotta like do something like that because he can't just wake up. You got this cut on you that is next to your nerve, pretty much your spine, with like connects your nervous system to your entire body. I mean, and that cut, I mean, I'm assuming probably he took out some ribs or something like that. So, I mean, so if maybe something, you know, either along the lines of what Doctor Octopus has, or, you know, for his control thing of the tentacles, or the Dead Space suit, something like that. You know, because at least with that, then the Dead Space suit, you know, they have that back to thing or whatever, and, you know, it goes into his mind to help his body heal. So he heads up to the bridge and informs General Leia that the Resistance fleet was tracked by a device created by the First Order that is somewhere on the capital ship. Finn offers to go out on the hull of the capital ship and is assisted by Rose to remove the tracking device. So pretty much that writes out the whole Canto Bight side quest thing. I mean, that whole thing, them going to Canto Bight, getting DJ, contacting Maz, and looking for the guy, you know, that they were supposed to get, but they went with DJ just because he helped them through the race. Because I would be like, hey, thanks for the help, man, but, you know, I mean, because what? Like, you got Rose and him and BB-8 and stuff. I mean, and the guy just leaves. Like, he has a thing that just opens at 8, but he's sitting there because why? Like, that's called lazy story writing. That's plot convenience. Like, you can't be doing that shit in Star Wars and stuff. It's ridiculous. Like, especially with Rogue One, like how Jyn Erso's dad built that port thing or whatever for, you know, that's the thing that he built for the weakness. I'm like, well, that's kind of stupid, but, you know, I just figured, you know, when I watched New Hope, it's like, well, maybe that's a vent for, you know, the super weapons. That's what it's for. But, you know, stupidity runs deep within Kathleen Kennedy and the story group there at, you know, Lucasfilm. Anyway, so then we go back to Acto, and Rey and Luke are sitting by a campfire while Chewbacca brings food to eat, which could be from the Millennium Falcon. Probably not, but it's probably gonna be. I would just say eat the damn porgs. Just fucking do it. Just eat them, dude. Who gives a shit? Like Chewbacca's that guy who's gonna take no shit from some damn creature. If he wants to eat it, he's gonna eat it. Like they turn him to a cartoon character. So anyway, so Rey asks why he's on Ahch-To and about the events of what happened to his, you know, Jedi Temple, and Ben Solo turned to the dark side. So I'm just gonna put in that maybe there was like a 10-year period or something like that, and Luke tells them that 10 years ago, or tells her. Sorry, I don't know why I keep doing that. Luke tells her that 10 years ago, Luke was attacked by Snoke and he was cut off from the Force. So pretty much since Luke's this powerful Dark Force user, I mean, perhaps, you know, Luke sent something, but like it was kind of like too late. Like, you know, like Snoke was there, and then Luke sends like this dark presence, and Snoke uses like Force Drain or Force Suppression or something. Like, I don't know. Like, there's something in Knights of the Old Republic 2, where like the Jedi Council cuts off your main character's connection to the Force, but then of course it opens back up through the blind woman or whatever, like who loses her eyesight. It was a Treya or something like that, I think. Like Dark Treya, the Lady of the Sith and stuff. And she was like portrayed like by a Darth Sion and Nihilus. But something like that. Something like that has to happen. It's not like, oh, I ran away. Like, I was thinking about killing my nephew. Like, the fuck? Like, are you kidding me? That is the dumbest writing. Like, families have their arguments and stuff, but they don't. I mean, unless someone has a serious mental problem, they think about killing that person. But a general family, like, when you look at almost every family, there's a, people have heart and don't give up on their family. It's just how we are. It's called love and compassion and stuff, that we just don't give up. So I just kind of took that thing out, threw it out the window, and watched, a raccoon run off with it. And decided not to eat it and all that crap. Anyways, so yeah, Ben left with Snoke and took a small handful of students with him that would later become the Knights of Ren. Luke came to Acto to find a way to reconnect with the Force to rescue Ben and defeat Snoke. Because pretty much, the reason Ben left with Snoke was the temptation of the dark side and stuff. It said, hey, look what just happened. I bested your master. Come with me, and I can make you more powerful. Stuff like your grandfather. I can make you as strong as Darth Vader or even more powerful. Which would, I think that's what should happen. I know there's this one guy who said, I forgot his channel, but he said something else, kind of like a little bit similar along these lines, but pretty much, Luke takes his students to Endor for some reason. Dark side presence that's there. But the only reason I would expect that is just, maybe the death or something like that, or whatever, or he's just, or something's amplifying. Anyways, but yeah, so he's there on Acto to reconnect with the Force. Although I think Acto should be Tython, just because that's where the Jedi Order and stuff comes from. Or what was it? There's that one book where it says where pretty much the first Force users originate from. I forgot what the planet was called. I don't know if it is actually Tython, but I at least know where Tython is, like the planet where the Jedi Order originate from and stuff. Although, what was it? They made it like Dantooine or something, and one of the in the first Knights of the Old Republic game, where that's like, I think that's where they said we are the main guys, or something like that, or Coruscant or something like that. I would have to play that game over again and get to that part, but anyways, yeah, so just saying Acto is, he's there to reconnect and hopes to save Ben, not kill Ben. Like, because I guess they don't understand the Skywalker character, especially when you got all these Legends books, who, they explain his character and stuff. I know there's like parts where he might have been, like, a little bit afterwards he might have been tempted or something like that, although that's still kind of a portrayal of his character anyways. But, they show that he grows into a great person and a great Jedi Master and stuff. So, anyways, so then Rey asks Luke if he can train her in the ways of the Force and to become a Jedi. He's not going to say no. I mean, that's just stupid. I think the fact that, Rey wants to become this, Jedi, a Jedi and stuff, should put a spark in him and stuff. Like, maybe there is hope and stuff that, I won't be the last Jedi, I am not the last Jedi. I can make this person a Jedi and stuff and teach them what I know, I've learned over the years from my failures and all that stuff, so, and my accomplishments and everything. Not go off fishing and sucking milk from a sea monster. It's like that. Oh boy, the movie's retarded. I mean, if you like it, you're gonna have to explain to me how it's good, because it's actually bad. Like, nothing, there's just nothing learned from this movie except that Rian Johnson, the only thing I've learned from this movie is that Rian Johnson is a terrible director, that he was a wrong choice for this movie, and Kathleen Kennedy is a fucking retard. Like, she is dumb. I mean, she was obviously the wrong choice for this franchise, to take control of it. And I mean, I don't mind, if they want to put a focus on a female character like Rey, stuff, but they should have gave her more of a, more depth and a better background, which I kind of put a little bit on here at least, But anyways, so Luke says he will do the best he can and they can be trained tomorrow. Rey goes to sleep and has a premonition of the future about her friends, seeing them get slaughtered by the First Order, and soon afterwards she's connected to Kylo Ren. So it's like this darkness of the dreams and stuff, or something like that, or maybe Snoke is given those dreams. Because I'm just wondering if that was Darth Sidious giving those dreams to Anakin in the prequel trilogy, showing him a future that could be, or something like that. Maybe he was putting fear in him or something like that. But anyways, so they are talking on an astral plane. So it's not like where they only see each other, but they're in the same areas anyways. I think like the astral plane idea I got was from Mass Effect 3, when you go to see the Leviathan, the creators of the Reapers. Like, you're like, Shepard, is like on this water thing or whatever and stuff, but talking to these like mind constructs or whatever, that the Leviathans are using to speak to Shepard. So I think something like that, just like this all blackness or whatever, or you can have them talking and stars or something, but at least just like an astral plane, not like where that whole thing goes on and stuff. It's just it doesn't work in a way for me, but I mean, if it does for other people and stuff, hey, that's fine. I'm just saying, this is what I would have done. Which is later on learned, that the whole thing was done by Snoke, of course, and it ends with Rey rejecting him. He's pretty much just, Kylo is tempting her to join him and stuff, and all that. Not where like she sees him, she shoots, and then the whole moment is turned into a comedic point and stuff. It does not work. I mean, I wish like she shot him and maybe like he did his thing from like the Force Awakens where he froze that bullet. Like, he tried to do that, although I know he tried to like do his thing and stuff in that part. But yeah, just like where she's asleep and he's sleeping or something like that, or meditating, but like in their minds, like they're like their eyes are closed and stuff, and kind of like things like kind of like the whole Doctor Strange thing and stuff like that, like where your soul or whatever is put on this field and stuff, and it's just those things that are talking to each other, not like the actual body, but like the souls and stuff or whatever, are talking to each other and stuff, something like that. And then the next morning we see Luke talking to Rey about the Force, and he teaches her how to connect with it and stuff, sort of like Obi-Wan did, and how he taught Luke, and stretch out with your feelings, kind of like what we're getting in this movie without the leaf part and smacking or whatever. And with Caleb Doom teaching Ezra. I'm just calling him Caleb Doom. I'm forgetting his other name. I just think Caleb Doom, for some reason, for me, is just a more memorable name than his fake name. But teaching Ezra Bridger, things about the Force, some similar stuff like that. and to focus within herself, stretch out your feelings, and reach. So then we see she is tempted by the place that's connected to the dark side of the Force, but she rejects it. Like, she's like, because she had just had this conversation with Kylo, and she's gonna reject it. So we need to have it where she just stays away from it, at least for now. Like, she just doesn't bring herself to that place. And she asks Luke, what is there? And he says it's something dark and horrifying, or whatever. They could something else, but it says after listen, Luke goes on to meditate at the Force tree and reading the ancient Jedi text. He's just there just trying to find a way to connect with the Force, and anything else you can teach Rey to continue the lessons. And then Rey goes down to the well and falls into this cave, in which like she goes down, falls into the water and stuff, and then she doesn't know how to swim. She's on Jakku, like she's been there pretty much her whole life. Where the hell is she gonna learn how to swim? This is actually a criticism I think that everyone just like literally missed, but maybe a few people saw it, and there's just YouTube videos I haven't seen on this. But how the hell does Rey know how to swim? Like, she goes to Wakanda, which is like the first planet that she obviously that has the most green, but I think she was Jedi mind wiped or something like that. But it just, anyways. Well, I mean, she should. I think she would have been, because everyone has a pretty good, everyone can remember a lot of remember a lot from their childhood, have a good amount of memories and stuff. So just the fact that because the way how J.J. Abrams said it was like she doesn't remember much and stuff. So, but yeah, anyways, so she goes down and she's drowning, and up comes this horrifying, like, nightmarish sea monster. And Rey ignites her lightsaber, and through a rough skirmish and stuff, like, maybe like this thing has a tail, kind of like, maybe it's like a sea monster serpent or something like that. And it's strangling her and stuff, but she stabs at it and stuff, and then she defeats the sea monster, which turns out just to be like this illusion, a manifestation of the dark side, subconscious part of her mind. And she swims back up to the surface. I would say, like, the thing that's drowning her, she doesn't know how to swim, but it's also like the fear and stuff and all that of death, and so that's bringing her down, like, on. But she swims back up to the surface, and before her is the ghost of Anakin Skywalker. And I'm just taking that thing off because I think was it the Scoundrels Cantina said something about that Hayden Christensen was supposed to be on set or something, and that they were going to have the ghost of Anakin Skywalker appear before her. And pretty much he congratulates her on defeating the dark side part of herself, but tells her that the temptation of the dark side will always be there in her journey to become a Jedi. It's gonna be kind of like Luke. He defeats that part and stuff, but the journey to become a Jedi, there will always be those temptations. So I think that fits. If not, that's okay. You guys, whoever watches this video, you can put in the comments of what you think of that and stuff, or something else, if you wish. You're allowed your opinion. And so then we get the space battle, the Resistance fleet, and the First Order. Continue on from like that stuff. So Finn and Rose are walking on the hull of the capital ship, and they find the tracking device. Rose begins to, and it's Rose who disables it. We just kind of like how she's maintenance or whatever and stuff, but she's also got more technological skills and stuff, and just that stuff. So it makes her useful and not just a dweeb. So, and Finn is just keeping an eye on the shields of the capital ship, Above, we see the space battle continue. And Finn has a worried look on his face just because, the shields could go down at any moment. Because it's just weird. Like, First Order shooting those shields, like, I thought, there's only a certain amount of shielding. Like, the ship can only have the shields for so long. Kind of like in Star Trek, it's like, shield integrity is at this and this and this and this, it drops down depending on the hits and stuff. So I'm like, shouldn't the shields, because we've all played Star Wars Battlefront and stuff like the originals with the shielding and everything, you have to keep shooting at these ships until the shields go down, or you just go in. Of course, that's just a game part anyways, just for you to do certain things and stuff, but the shields have to be down before you can do anything else, before you can attack it, because that's just, someone else did, I think one or two people did something on this where Kylo Ren just flying through the shields or whatever to take out the hangar bay. Like, that's not exactly how that works, because first of all, that area is also shielded as well. Because if you remember from, was it Revenge of the Sith, Anakin and Obi-Wan are going to rescue the the Supreme Chancellor, and they can't get in because there's those shields that are still up. So Anakin has to fly back and disable the shield thing and stuff, because I think nothing can really get through there and stuff. Not even like regular blasters. The only thing that's programmed to get there are the droid ships and stuff. So it's like the whole thing with shields. With Death Star 2 and everything, you fly right into that stuff. Your ship's destroyed, like you guys see in Rogue One. They fly into the shields and their ships are destroyed. So, it's just one of those things. It's for some reason there's just these inconsistencies with this movie that they just don't know what they're doing. But anyways, Rose is successful in disabling the tracking device and destroys it. The two begin to head back into the capital ship. General Leia gives the order to Poe to come back into the ship since they are preparing to jump to hyperspace. Afterwards, the shields are disabled and the TIE Riders begin their attack on the capital ship, but they are defeated by Poe and his squad. The Resistance fleet has successful escape, but lose another frigate. But look, I didn't do the whole Leia, Mary Poppins bullshit. I just said they just were starting to attack and stuff and all that. They didn't shoot the bridge because Leia would have been killed, period. So it's like, so I don't know it, because the thing is, I don't know when she's closing her eyes and she's just ready to die, or she did something. They just don't explain it. But she's pretty much dead because you see her skin coming off. Like, she's pretty much dead then. Like she's dead. I don't... Like, they need to have consultants on the script and stuff to say, hey, well, this doesn't work and this doesn't work and stuff. Like, it just doesn't work. But people, I guess, like this movie because they're stupid. And I'm going to continue saying it. If you like this movie, you're actually an idiot. You just don't get shit. Like, you just don't get it. So, if you get offended by the facts, that's your own problem. Anyway, so General Hux informs Snoke that they have lost track of the Resistance fleet. Snoke, like, seriously, like, Snoke should have died on Starkiller Base, and then a new Admiral or something should have come in. Like, his character should have died on that. But so I put here that Snoke kills General Hux by force choking him to death. Kind of like, how Vader force choke, was it Admiral Pickett or whatever, something his name was, or General whatever. Was it? Well, it wasn't General Veers, but it was some other guy that he force chokes through a screen. So pretty much Snoke is doing that, but and has a new First Order officer put in charge. He tells this new First Order officer that he'll contact their mole and the Resistance to find out where they're going and to prepare for the final battle against the Resistance. Which, The Resistance is pretty much just a militia force, like I said before. That's what they are. They're a militia force. General Leia informs her crew that they're going to create the old rebel base where they will meet allies in the Outer Rim territories to help them fight against the First Order. And pretty much Vice Admiral Holdo is introduced, who will be, she's going to be the Maul. I guess I shouldn't be saying that, but yeah, she should. Although, I mean, people have said, she should be the Maul or something like that. And thanks Poe and Finn and Rose for the bravery and courage to secure the survival of the Resistance. I don't know, I couldn't think of anything else after that, but Rey continuing, and so now we go to Rey continuing her Jedi training on Ahch-To. And here we watch montages of Rey using the lightsaber and also practicing with Luke. Like they're doing like a sparring match. Like he still has his lightsaber. Like there's no the whole movie, like just the astral projection of himself looking younger, having the blue lightsaber. That whole part literally is an FU to everyone. So anyways, but Luke defeats Rey because Rey's just, there's no way she could defeat Luke. He's got the years of experience ahead of her, so he would defeat her in lightsaber combat. And so he takes Rey to the Force Tree and tells her some history of the Jedi Order, how it came to be, and the Sith as well. And Rey asks him in this moment about her heritage and how she could be this powerful with the Force. Here, Luke just, since he doesn't have the Force and stuff, he is unaware of who Rey's parents are, but believes that the Force must also be strong in her family as well. I mean, come on, guys. The Force doesn't just put more to it. Doesn't work like that. Luke is powerful because of his father. I know it's a lot of people talk about, well, how come Anakin? Well, Anakin, and this is pretty much confirmed in a way by Episode VIII, Revenge of the Sith. He was brought to life probably by Darth Sidious because he manipulated the midichlorians and his mom. So, I mean, that's... Anyway, so then Rey returns to her hut where she sleeps and has another premonition. This time it involves Luke Skywalker, who is battling Kylo Ren and is defeated by him. Kylo then turns his attention to Rey and battles her, knocking her to the ground. He then has his lightsaber over her and he is about to strike her down, but she is woken up by Chewbacca. So pretty much just another thing, like these dark tones, you can have them in these movies. Like, it's kind of like, those things, it's like she's having a thing like Anakin pretty much, and somewhat like Luke, although he's just having like these thoughts and stuff about his friends. And if Luke had stayed on Dagobah, I mean, nothing bad really would have happened. I mean, he would have had years of training. I mean, his friends would be fine. Leia would have ended up leaving Cloud City anyways with Lando and Chewbacca and C-3PO. Like that was definite. Like, that was gonna happen no matter what. If he was there or not, she would have left. So, that plan was going down no matter what. And, Han, would be at Jabba's palace. But Luke could stay there and, he might not have found out about his father and stuff, but, I guess, they would have to somehow do the Return of the Jedi, in a different way and stuff for Luke to bring his father back to the light side. Because, Obi-Wan and Yoda wanted him to defeat him, like strike him down and kill him, and the Emperor. Like, they were building him to be a weapon, pretty much. They were training him to become a weapon of their own personal use to go do that. But, this is why I like Luke, because he's like, I'm not gonna, I'll come back, but I ain't gonna be this thing to kill, to murder and stuff. So, At least that's the way how I look at it when I'm just thinking about it. You know, he had, I mean, the choices that he made and stuff, and learning from that experience is what made him who he is, to become a better person than his father, than Yoda, and Obi-Wan. So, yeah, that's just my take on it anyways. So Rey tells Chewbacca, you know, that it was nothing but a bad dream, but, you know, Chewbacca's gonna stay there and just, you know, protect her and stuff. So anyway, so then we go to On Board the Supremacy. Kylo Ren is meditating, and during it we see a Sith ghost, a Darth Vader, standing before him. Now, I came up with the concept of Sith ghosts and stuff like on one of my previous videos. You know, I talked about Darth Vader and his quote that was similar to Snoke's, which I just thought was weird after I thought about it for a while. I'm like, wait a minute, I have heard of this thing before, but, you know, I could become a okay writer probably for them, but anyways, so, you know, because Darth Vader, like, he goes to this ancient, like, Sith temple on Coruscant and stuff, and then, like, there he meets with, like, the most famous Sith Lords, and together they give him their collective knowledge, and he becomes powerful and stuff. He becomes like the avatar of the dark side of the Force and stuff, and becomes like this new Sith and stuff. And you know, and from his body is like this, like, red mist or whatever, you know, that comes from his body. You know, he is the embodiment of the dark side. But I don't know, that might sound cartoonish or something like that. But anyways, Kylo asks him for his guidance on what to do, and Darth Vader replies to him that he must forge his own destiny, his own path, and not try to be like him, and learn from his failure to become more powerful than he was. Because Kylo Ren is pretty much trying to become Darth Vader, but having Darth Vader there and tell him, like, hey, don't be like me, be better than me, learn from my mistakes, and become more powerful than I was. Like, I just don't get it. Like, that would have been actually a cool moment and stuff, and something cool to hear from the ghost of Darth Vader, you know, and say, hey, look what happened to me. You gotta learn from this and become better than I was, and become more powerful than me. Because he's trying to become powerful as. But, you know, if Darth Vader tells Kylo Ren, hey, become more powerful than I was and stuff, and just do better and stuff, and, you know, you'll be the most threatening Sith out there, or dark side, you know, dark force, you know, user. So Kylo Ren promises that he will, and after that, one of the Knights of Ren informs him that Snoke wishes to speak with him. You know, we gotta have the Knights of Ren in this movie and stuff. You know, they gotta be a part, because they're introduced. And I was here on Jody's Corner, you know, like I said, I have it paused. They were talking about how the elite Praetorian Guard are the Knights of Ren. Like, no, they aren't. Just go to Wikipedia, type in elite Praetorian Guards. They're just a version of the Emperor's Royal Guards. Like, they're just an updated version and stuff. Like, that's all they are. Where the Knights of Ren are, and, you know, The Last Jedi, I have no fucking clue. Like, they're just not there. Which is weird, because I would figure that they would be on the Supremacy, and if they wanted to have that throne room scene and the way that it was going down, that you would think that maybe Kylo Ren would call the Knights of Ren to join him to take down the elite Praetorian Guards and overthrow Snoke or something like that. Like maybe that it could have happened in that way, but we don't get that because they're retarded. Rian Johnson just doesn't get it, because J.J. Abrams set up this new trilogy, and then Rian Johnson, because he set it up like this, and then Rian Johnson like this with it, and I don't know how you go down like this and bring it back up. But yeah, that's just my thing on it. Like, you know, that throne room scene had the Knights of Ren in there to help Kylo Ren. It's like, you know what, Snoke, I'm taking over and stuff and all that. I mean, and then the Knights of Ren battle the elite Praetorian guards, and then Kylo Ren and Snoke maybe have something go down. But, like I said, I don't write these movies and stuff because I'm just a person, and you know, honestly, Disney has a hard time recognizing good talent and stuff. But so anyway, so Kylo Ren goes to Snoke, who tells him that he must go to Morabond. Alright, so this kind of little thing, I'm just replacing this part with the Canto Bite part, but, you know, and enter the tomb of Darth Bane, which it was shown in the Clone Wars, so we're revisiting a little bit of that stuff, which, hey, the prequels had some good stuff and introduced us to some new lore and the mythology and stuff in Star Wars and the Force, and the Clone Wars expanded on that, so can't exactly hate the entire prequel trilogy. And after seeing The Last Jedi, I'm like, man, prequels look good. I just got tired of them and stuff, so I don't exactly have a hate, I guess. It's just like, I just got bored with them. But yeah, so he will take his final tests and complete his training to become a powerful Sith Lord or Dark Force user, whatever you want to call it. So Kylo Ren leaves with a few members of his Knights of Ren to head to Morabond. So yeah, which I'm wondering if Exar Kun was the Dark Lord or something like that, or Sith Lord. I don't know. I'm gonna look at my phone here real quick. I just want to get that. No, I don't care about that Google Exar Kun. Or Coon or something like that. I was the greatest Dark Lord of Sith. I am Exar Kun. Okay, so yeah, pretty much Kylo Ren in a way that I'm just basing off of because it's Exar Kun. He didn't call himself anything else, but you know, assumed the mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith and wage a destructive war against the Galactic Republic and Jedi Order during the era of the old Sith Wars. So, I mean, that's, so, yeah, because, I don't know what else you could call yourselves. I mean, Dark Jedi wore a type of Sith, pretty much, which these guys, I can get into a debate with them and school them on their stuff, probably. Maybe. Anyways, so, and this part is a tie-in, you know, thing into, from The Force Awakens into The Last Jedi. So, the Guavian Death Gang comes to Acto, which is that, led by that one Scottish dude, that, you know, was there to collect stuff from Han Solo, probably those beasts that end up killing the Kanja Club guys, you know, the, what is it, the raid cast, pretty much. So, Rey is doing some physical exercises while Luke continues to meditate, trying to reconnect with the Force. As Rey continues her exercises, she senses a ship coming down to the planet. The ship lands in the distance, and pirates depart from the ship. But, you know, I just call them pirates just because, I mean, I guess they're technically pirates or raiders, whatever you want to call them. Chewbacca sees them and gets his bowcaster and recognizes them as the Guavian Death Gang. And the two start shooting at one another, and Rey rushes over to help him out. So, like, that part that you see in the trailer with Rey running with the lightsaber and stuff, let's just think about, like, you know, she's rushing over to help Chewbacca out against the Guavian Death Gang because, you know, they outnumber Chewie and stuff, so she's gonna go over and try to help him out. So, yeah, she tries to help him out, but gets shot in the shoulder and takes cover. Luke stands tall and ignites his green lightsaber and deflects the shots, and like Darth Vader in Rogue One, disarms the Guavian Death Gang. So pretty much like while he's meditating and all that stuff is going on, there's going to be a scene probably like where, you know, he opens his eyes and it focuses in on his eyes, and, you know, Rey is trying to do stuff or whatever, and she gets shot, and then, you know, then Luke comes over or something like that. Like she looks around the corner, gets, and there's the blast of fire But then like Luke stands tall and stuff and ignites and stuff. So then does this army. He approaches them, and out of fear they look at him, recognizing who he is, and apologize and leave Acto. So like it's like, oh my gosh, like that's Luke Skywalker, like shit, like sorry, we'll go, like that kind of thing. So so yeah, and then Luke walks over to Rey and takes her to his hut and puts a bandage on her wound. Because, like, she's not going to be able to take on this guy. She doesn't have the training and stuff, really, to do so. I mean, it's just how it is. So, yeah, Luke's training and stuff was, pretty good for what he was able to do. But, yeah, she's only had, enough to do a few things. But anyway, so yeah, Rey thanks him, and then he tells her that what she did was foolish but brave nonetheless, and with more training she will become a great Jedi. So that's just something that might work or something like that. I don't know if you guys like that, you can say so or not. But then at night, Rey takes a stroll and looks across the ocean, thinking upon her future. She sits down and meditates, and is once again connected to Kylo Ren on an astral plane, and again rejects him, but feels there is conflict within him. She opens her eyes, and within herself she feels like she has to do something. Although, I wonder if I lost track of that part. But anyways, so the Resistance fleet at Crate. So they arrive at Crate. The Resistance begins its descent to the planet's surface. Poe asks her and Leia who will arrive to help them out against the First Order. She tells them that it'll be an old friend. The Resistance starts getting their defenses ready at the old Rebel base to prepare for the First Order. And then Vice Admiral Holdo will be the mole. We're just gonna roll with that just because we should. That's how it should have gone. And meanwhile, forms the First Order where they are, and the First Order officer takes the First Order fleet to Crate. Rose sees Vice Admiral Holdo coming from the shadows and rejoining the crowd, suspecting her doing something mischievous. So, something suspicious or whatever, whatever you want to use for the term. So Kylo Ren at Morban. So he and his few members of the Knights of Ren depart from their ship and go to the Tomb of Darth Bane. There, Kylo Ren goes through his final parts of his training to become a complete Dark Lord, or user of the dark side, but just Dark Lord of the Force, or the Sith. Kylo and his Knights of Ren destroy the Temple of Darth Bane and the other Sith temples. So, because pretty much Darth Bane is going there, he's like talking to Kylo about the Sith and everything, what they stand for and stuff, and the Rule of Two that he founded and everything. And he pretty much, Kylo Ren rejects the Rule of Two. He's like, you know what? When there were many Sith, that was when they were a threat. When there was an army of Sith, like the Old Republic games and stuff. When there was this huge army of them, they were a major threat. But when it's just two, like, nah, like that just doesn't fly with them. He's like, no, I'm going to destroy this code that's been around for a while and pretty much bring in a new order. He's going to pretty much invoke, this army of Sith and stuff and create a new order and stuff. So, but anyways, so as they do, a Hissus, a dark side dragon, appears and they destroy it. And Kylo and his followers leave Marvan and returns to the supremacy inside himself. He knows that the Rule 2 must be destroyed and that a new order must be born. So, pretty much what I just said, and I'm jumping a little bit around on that. So, I'm getting hungry. I haven't eaten lunch yet. That's of course not your guys' problem. That's my problem. That's something I gotta fix. So Rey's revelations. So on Acto, Rey is sleeping and has a flashback to Jakku and sees her parents leaving the planet. She has another flashback, of course. It's like a multiple flashback thing. So she has another one of her mom saying that she loves her and apologizes for what they're doing, and she wakes up. I don't know. I look at this part like, man, now I did something stupid, but maybe we can figure something else out, or I will. But she wakes up from a port sniffing her, and she gives a curious look at it and gets out of her hut. She goes to Luke and she asks if there is any hope in redeeming Ben from the dark side. But at least we have this part where she's looking at her mom and saying that she was not, she was being left there for a reason and stuff, and all that. But of course we don't get the name of her parents. We just see it and stuff. At least she knows the reason why she's left there. Maybe there could have been a part you're being left here for your own protection and stuff and all that. We're not leaving. We're not drunkards and we're selling you here and stuff and blah blah blah. Because Kylo Ren can go fuck himself in that scene. But anyways, so yeah, just better writing. And so anyways. So she goes to Luke, asks if there's any hope in redeeming Ben from the dark side, and Luke tells her that there is, and that is a reason why he's on Acto. I think I already said that pretty much. That's why he's there, to find a way to rescue Ben. So later in the day, we see Rey and Kylo Ren on the astral plane, and Kylo tempts her once again to join him. But then she, there's this thing where she asks him to return to the light side, saying he's being used by Snoke and that he had purpose and was loved by his family, and they still believe in him. Luke, though, intervenes, and the connection is broken between Rey and Kylo Ren. He asks Rey how many times that has happened, and she says that this was the third time. And Luke comes to the conclusion, because I think he knew that Snoke was doing that stuff, but he just didn't say anything, and then Rey has a hissy fit and stuff, and then she kicks Luke's butt, which I'm like no. Luke believes that it must be Snoke. Connecting them between the Force doesn't just randomly happen. It just doesn't randomly connect two people who do not wish to speak to each other, because that just, it doesn't work like that. It's like, I'm not going to get a fucking call from some, an astral projection call or whatever from someone I don't want to talk to. It doesn't happen like that. I'm pretty sure you have to set something up or whatever, or you have to at least call out to them, You have to, like how Luke did that with Leia, you have to call out to that person and stuff and focus or something like that and do that kind of thing. But it's not like she's calling out to, them and stuff, but to Kylo. So Luke is meditating on the matter and decides that he must leave Acto and join the fight with the Resistance and help his sister. He leaves in his X-Wing, and Rey leaves with Chewbacca in the Millennium Falcon. So he leaves the island, okay? He gets off the fucking thing. I mean, seriously. It's so stupid to leave him there and just die from exhaustion and stuff. He could have actually kept going, but he just gives up. I mean, that's what happens. He just gives up. He had the strength to carry on, but he's like, nah, whatever. I did my part. I'm just gonna go. Because I'm a pussy. So anyways, Lando Calrissian. Okay. You had to have Lando in this movie. I mean, what's wrong with Bobby D. Williams not being in this movie? Like, come on. I mean, look at the guy. He's a handsome dude. Like, the fuck? I mean, because Finn is the only black person in this movie. It's like, are they afraid of having more than one black person? Like, the hell? It's like, because in each trilogy that we're seeing, it's like, you had, Lando, who was the only black person. Then you had Mace, and then you have Finn. It's like, the fuck? Is there a thing where you can't have more than one black person? Like, the fuck is that? Like, I'm white, I'm not. And I'm you know, I'm a conservative Republican, but it's like, you know, you can have your diversity and stuff. It's like, I'm okay with that. Like, the fuck, like, there has to just be one, you know, because you pretty much have all these white people and stuff, but then you have, what is it? Poe Dameron, the guy who plays him, is from, like, Guam or something, or wherever, so he's not really white, he's, like, Hispanic of some sort, and then you have Rey, you have Finn who's black, you have Rose who's Asian, but could have been done by a better Asian actress. Like, you know who should have been Rose in this movie? Like, what is it? The girl who was in Premium Rush, that Asian girl who needed, like, she has that daughter, like, she could have been Rose. I mean, that might have worked. She's playing who? Was it Blink or something like that in the X-Men TV show, the Gifted, I believe. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. Like, she could have been Rose. You know, you would have had an attractive Asian actress. So if I can, hey, there are some good-looking Asian women out there. Like, I'm not gonna like, there are some good ones out there. So, like, I'm attracted to. If I see a beautiful woman, anyways, I'm attracted to that woman. Like, but you get Killing Antoine, who's like she's just a dweeb and stuff. Like, there's, boy. So anyway, so yeah, Lando Calrissian arrives with the fleets from Mandalore, Ryloth, and Mon Cala. Okay, because at least Mandalore and Ryloth makes sense in a way, you know, because they were screwed over by the Empire. They don't want to get ruled by the First Order. They'd be like, freak those people out, like fuck them, like, you know, there's just no reason. And Mon Cala, you know, is the Mon Calamari and stuff, but anyway, so they send troops down to the planet and get into defensive formation. The First Order arrives with the supremacy behind several First Order Star Destroyers. A space battle ensues while troop and vehicle transports are sent to the surface. Lando stays up to command the space battle. So you pretty much got, you know, another space battle. I've given, let's see, I gave you the one at Dakar, I gave you the one after the hyperspace jump, and I'm giving you guys another one. That's 3 space battles in one movie, okay? Like, this one gave us 2, the first, but the 2 that they gave us were so stupid. Like, they're not, like, because it's 7 years, like, I'm going to remember those, but not for any good reason. I'm gonna be like, man, like, these are the worst space battles in Star Wars history. Like, they're stupid. So, you know, but it would be, like, 3 really cool space battles, so. And then you got, you know, these ships that sent down some troops to help with Leia and those resistance fighters down below, you know, to help them with their defenses and stuff. And then you got the First Order sending their stuff down, but then you got the fleet, so you got a ground, you know, battle going on, and you got this. So I know that's like, well, that's not really like anything that's happened in almost, you know, at least in the prequels. You know, you had the Phantom Menace with bits of the Naboo, and at least with, I think, the Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, because there's stuff going on here and there and all that. So, but yeah, it's also common in the TV shows too. So it's not, that doesn't copy anything. That's just a running thing. But yeah, Lando stays up to command the fleet and stuff because, you know, he's a general and all that. So then on the surface of Crate, Rose is following Vice Admiral Holo and sees her transmitting data on the rebel base to the First Order. Rose has her arrested and she stops the transmission. The resistance troops prepare their defenses for the First Order. On the ground, members of the Knights of Ren command the ground troops and have them begin their assault on the rebel base. So, more stuff from the Knights of Ren, okay? Because honestly, I mean, think of it, like, you know, you have kind of like a, like, just like the video games and stuff, and you got these Siths who are there with their troops and stuff, or like Jedi, and so you got them all over the place. I mean, don't just keep them in one area. move them around. Let's see, so. And then Poe and his squad go after the Supremacy, which are stopped by the First Order, TIE Fighter pilot, and his or her squad, which another dogfight begins. So, yeah, you got that going on. A little bit of space combat. I mean, come on. I mean, gotta have something going on. Have a little bit of fun, you know, just X-Wings and TIE Fighters go at it and stuff, and, you know. And it ends with Poe winning and the First Order TIE Fighter pilot crashing at a First Order Star Destroyer. So, a little bit of kamikaze thing there going on, whatever. But, you know, you've seen that stuff before, kind of like in Return of the Jedi with the TIE Fighter crashing in and stuff. But, that stuff's been going on for a while anyways. Especially in video games or whatever. Like, especially if you're you know, playing Battlefront, and, you know, you're in space. I mean, something can happen where your ship just ends up crashing. So that's just a thing that just goes on. And yeah, so Poe and his squad clear a path for the bombers, and a few of them were destroyed by Knights of Ren fighter pilots. So, or at least one or two or something like that. You know, whatever you want to go with. Poe and his squad are getting eliminated one by one, but Luke arrives in his X-Wing and eliminates them. I mean, who wouldn't love to see that? Poe is getting taken down and stuff, and this Luke comes right in and stuff, and it's just like, I got your back, Poe, like, you know, I got you. I mean, that would just put a smile on my face, and I think everyone's face, and be like, yeah, like, imagine that cheer, like, you gotta think about that, like, the cheer and stuff from the audience, you know, Poe's, like, going down stuff, but Luke comes in and just saves him and stuff, and it's like, you know, I got you, man, like, I got your back, you know, it's, you think of a moment like that, and I think of it too, I just imagine, like, everyone's, like, clapping, like, yeah, like, you go, Luke, and stuff, like, it would have been awesome. Of course, I'm sure there was people, like, if that was Wedge, too, but, I don't know, he, like, the actor, like, who played him, like, pretty much quit and stuff, and said it was boring. I'm like, how is working on Star Wars boring? Like, if I was, like, asked and stuff, like, hell yeah, I'll work on Star Wars and stuff. I'll, of course, give me that script, because if I, you know, I'd be one of those guys, like, hold on, let me read this, like, and I would have gone to them, it's like, hey, this really doesn't work, you know, like, we gotta fix this. And if it came out with these things, hopefully you guys actually like this stuff, especially just, I mean, think about the moment. Poe is and his squad are getting cut down and stuff by these Knights of Ren 1, 2, 3, whatever fighter pilots, but Luke has the years of experience and stuff, and just comes in and takes them out and stuff. And like, yeah, like, it was like awesome. Everyone would just be like cheering and clapping and everything, and oh my gosh, like, just thinking about it puts a smile, like, I'm smiling, it's just, oh my gosh. So Luke and Rey head to the Supremacy with an escort from Poe and his few Resistance pilots. They board it and have a small fight with stormtroopers. So kind of like that whole thing I just wrote there reminds me of Revenge of the Sith, where they go in and stuff, and then they come out of their ships and stuff and take out the droid. But yeah, I mean, that's how it would just go down here. And then they make their way to the throne room, but unfortunately they are stopped by Kylo Ren and his couple Knights of Ren with an escort of First Order stormtroopers, and the two are taken. They surrender pretty much, you know. But it's kind of like a plan that Luke has concocted. Like, they wanted this to happen, because Obi-Wan and Anakin getting caught by that ray shield, that wasn't part of the plan. But, you know, it did, you know, get going and stuff and all that. But, because I don't think they would have any, I don't know if there was any way for them to actually get off that ship. So, but yeah, they surrender and they are taken to Snoke. So then on Crate, we see all those all-terrain Mega Caliber 6s, or the Gorilla Walkers, whatever you want to call them, and other troop transports approaching the rebel base. Because for the love of God, if, like, that whole scene was a rip-off Empire Strikes Back, and I'm just like, looking, because it's got those, and then it's got like other walkers too there that are there. I don't know if those were the AT-ACs that were with them, but I'm looking at this scene and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, show some damn originality. Because I know that whole part, like I just said, sounds like Empire Strikes Back, but you got these, but then you have more. You add more to it, so I mean, it's a yes and no, I guess, on that part, but you know, I'm sort of following the same thread and stuff of the plot line on there, but you know, this video is gonna be like one of like I don't know how many that I'm gonna do and stuff for, you know, the movie. I mean, I guess I'll do something else with the Canto Bite scene or whatever, but anyways, so yeah, so there's the other true transports approaching the rebel base, and the resistance. So the resistance base is gonna have at least a few X-wings or whatever. Because I don't want to say the T-47 speeders, because then that's just playing on it. And I know they got those old speeder things there, but those. I mean, I look at those and I'm like, the fuck are these things for? It's like they only look like they're there to take out troops, but they look like shit. So I just like, throw those away. But I did add something in that was in Star Wars Command. So I said the X-Wings and then the T-2B repulsor tanks. Because I mean, like, why does the rebellion, like, you know, the resistance stuff, they gotta have some sort of tanks and stuff. So, so they go to attack the all-trained Mega Caliber 6s, but we'll just call them guerrilla walkers. But First Order TIE Fighters go after the X-Wings, and they got another dogfight happening within the surface and stuff, so more, a little bit combat with this stuff, so it's just more action stuff, but, and then, let's see, the T-2B repulsor tanks are used, they're being used for a multitude of things, so they're being used for artillery attacks at the NTM-6s and the troop transports. On one of those troop transports, a Knight of Ren comes down with the First Order troopers, and then another one has Captain Phasma landing. So, or I guess it could have been like one of those landing shuttles that Kylo Ren has, and maybe like a Knight of Ren comes out of that. But I don't know. Either or works, I guess. But so a firefight goes on between the First Order stormtroopers and Resistance soldiers. We also see mobile assault walkers heading towards the T-2B repulsor tanks and attacking the trenches. So you got those walkers, kind of like, you know, they're the First Order ones. They were like toys that would be promoted for The Force Awakens, but you never saw them. Which I'm like, why do you have these? But it's just to sell toys. And I'm also like thinking myself, but you know, they're also pretty much newer models from those ones that were in Revenge of the Sith that you saw those clone troopers walking on in Kashyyyk, but I believe they're also being used at that beach battle too. So yeah, just have those thrown in stuff and make it, you know, because then we're not just waiting for the damn walkers to come out. Cause I mean, those walkers take forever to get to from point A to point B. I mean, they're slow as a damn snail. I mean, I don't understand what it is with these walkers. Don't you want something that goes faster? I mean, I don't know, maybe instead of those ATM 6s and stuff, remember those what was it Clone Army had? Like those kind of like mobile tank things on the wheels, those troop transports and stuff. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. It was at Battle of Kashyyyk, you know, those big hover things or whatever that are used. Like, instead of these damn walkers like trying to copy, it's like, stop doing that. Look at what the clones did and stuff and use those tactics, because obviously the Empire's tactics didn't work for shit. Like, there's a reason they failed and stuff, because their tactics, like what they were using, were so damn retarded. Like, I don't get it. Why would you repeat what the Empire had, knowing that you're just doomed to fail? Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Like, so maybe instead of these NT6s, these guerrilla walkers, how about we just I mean, I don't know. We got those or these, but I think actually everyone would probably want the action to be going a little bit faster. You know, pick up the pace and stuff and all that. You know, instead of just like, oh my god, you have these mobile assault walkers who are going in and stuff, but then you have these walkers in the back who are just taking their time. Because it's, I mean, you literally see it go, eh, eh, eh. Like, it's like, alright, well, I'm going to take a nap real quick. Let me know when they're actually here. I should have those troop transports. Because then at least, let's just get rid of these MTM6s and just put in those. And so then it just brings in a faster pace. It's like an action, like an actual like war part and stuff, like bringing in the dirty gritty and stuff. Just like do that shit. You know, let's have that go on instead. Instead of those fucking walkers that are just way out there and stuff. And then it's like you have that battering ram cannon, which I get rid of. I have it replaced by something else. But you know, like it just like the thing destroys a door and stuff, but it's like, well, you have these things all the way back there. How long the fuck is that gonna like, it doesn't make sense. Like that, this whole thing is just like, you have these walkers, but you don't have any quicker than that. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, this is why the clones were better, pretty much, just because they had, you know, those, I think they were called juggernauts or something like that. You know, for the troop transports, for those clones and stuff to get in, because it just brought them in and just wheeled them in. They were quick and stuff. But you have these AT-ATs and the AT-ACs and stuff that were used for troop transports. I don't know how troops would, I guess they were held down or something like that, I guess, but yeah, I don't know how they would get out anyways, but yeah, so unless like the AT-ATs with their legs or something maybe go down or whatever, but yeah, anyways, so they go on attacking the trenches and back on the supremacy. We see Luke and Rey in the throne room with Snoke, where he is surrounded by the elite Praetorian guards with Kylo Ren and the two members that were with him, of the Knights of Ren. And so pretty much here, you know, I pretty much just put a lightsaber battle ensues between, and Luke bests Kylo Ren and takes down the two Knights of Ren. The whole point of getting to that moment, though, I'm trying to think though how that would work. Like maybe you know, there's some sort of conversation with Snoke and Luke and Kylo and Rey and stuff in the middle of it. You know, Kylo maybe is asked to take him down or whatever, or something like that, and you know, perhaps they think or whatever, like maybe something kind of like a trick like Gandalf does from Lord of the Rings, you know, where he has that cloak so he limits his power or whatever. So maybe Luke kind of keeps his power limited or whatever from being revealed to Snoke and Kylo and everyone, you know, and the Knights of Ren that are there. And then he pulls a trick where he gets his lightsaber out, whatever, and like just causes confusion and stuff. And so then after that, you know, a lightsaber battle ensues, and Luke kicks Kylo Ren's ass, and the two members of the Knights of Ren are there. And then Luke and Rey take on those elite Praetorian guards, but Luke has to do a little bit more of the work just because, you know. There's, you know, Rey still does not have the proper training to take on, you know, armed men like that who are well trained. So Luke has to do a little bit of the work. Rey maybe takes out one or two, you know, just based on what she's learned and stuff. But other than that, it's like it's mainly Luke who does it, you know. So, but you know, in that conversation though, backpedaling just a little bit, but Luke does try to convince Kylo to come back and stuff. But but and that's kind of like the only part though where there's that lightsaber battle and stuff, there in that throne room and stuff. But although there's another one that follows afterwards. But yeah, so Snoke, and all that stuff leaves the throne room, and then the two of them pretty much, they escape, but they go after Snoke, Luke and Snoke. Everyone wanted that, right? Everyone wanted Luke and Snoke to go at it and stuff. So, Luke does this thing. It's like, you destroyed, something I built and everything and stuff, and he pretty much like, I'm going to take down like what you have and all that, or something like that. He pretty much does this counter speech or whatever. He's pretty much everything that you built and stuff, I'm going to take down and stuff and all that. And you took Ben from me and all that, and that kind of stuff, like something like that. Like that, there should have been a dialogue, a scene with something like that going on. And so those two fight. There's lightsaber battle between them, and then Luke defeats Snoke. He kills him. It goes Mace Windu on his ass or something like that. But and so Poe Dameron and the fleet start attacking the Supremacy, causing some serious damage on it. And Poe alerts Snoke. I mean, not Snoke. Sorry about that. I had a brain fart. He alerts Luke that it's time for them to escape. The First Order brings in more ships because they're having their asses handed to them, pretty much. So it's like, I don't know. Darth Sidious just undermined the Rebel fleet and stuff, and then call for more. Because I know that wasn't the entire fleet. That was just a good chunk of it and stuff, but there's still rest out there. And so the First Order brings in more ships, and the Resistance fighters have to retreat back. They fall back just a bit to their fleet ships. Because those ships come in and start shooting, at those Resistance fighters. X-wings, B-wings, whatever, Y-wings, A-wings and stuff. Every other ship that is possible to think of. And so those get caught. So yeah, they just have to fall back just a little bit. And so we get 2 more Mandalore 4 class Siege dreadnoughts, and then 1 Sovereign class Super Star Destroyer. So bring that in from Legends and stuff, just because, and the reason I do this is so that way, because those beam cans or whatever, take a while to charge. So you want at least 2 there or whatever to, take down the Rebel fleet. Well, not the Rebel, the Resistance fleet, and then the Sovereign class Star Destroyer is there to, do its damage on the Rebel base. And so the First Order dreadnoughts start firing at the Resistance fleet, and Lando makes it a priority for all fighters and stuff to take out these dreadnoughts. And while that's going on and stuff, since their focus is on this, these 2 dreadnoughts, the Sauron class Star Destroyer is able to go by and just head towards Krayt to attack the Rebel base that's there. And then on the surface, the Resistance ground forces are again decimated by the First Order and retreat back to the base. Just, because, they just, it's a part where they have to get overwhelmed and stuff. So, the Millennium Falcon comes down, and Rey, with the help of Finley, they charge back to the First Order ground forces just to push them back and stuff. Or maybe, she's just able to help hold them off or something like that for the retreat to be complete or something like that. So, but by heading forward and returning the charge and stuff, they take down the mobile assault walkers, and Rey defeats these Knights Ren, and Finn takes down Captain Phasma after gaining the upper hand. So something happens where he takes her down and stuff and defeats her, and I don't know, I guess maybe she's just knocked out or whatever, something like that. He thinks that she's dead, like the fight, something like that. So that way she could be, used again in Episode 9. Yeah. General Leia, though, calls them back and they will need to retreat. Just because, it's getting to this point, so they only have so much resources and stuff, and they're getting overwhelmed by the First Order. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say here, is that they're getting overwhelmed and stuff, and there's not much they can do. And so Luke assists Poe in the space battle, and they take down the 2 dreadnoughts, which saves the Resistance fleet, and then they head to the Sovereign-class Super Star Destroyer. It begins to shoot down its super laser onto the planet, destroying the blast door and stuff, and the Resistance retreats deeper into the base, holding off the First Order ground forces. As soon as it seems to be a bit dim, more ships arrive for the Resistance and start firing at the First Order fleet. And they have to retreat under orders of the First Order officer, that one that got promoted by the Supreme Leader Snoke, who is pretty much dead, and Kylo Ren is made the new Supreme Leader. So, yeah, because, I guess there could be a part where pretty much Lando sends out a call during the space battle, and it's like, hey, we need help if anyone else, can come and assist us. So pretty much just more ships come in and stuff, and the First Order is like, holy shit, we gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, this is our only super weapon that's left, or something like that. We gotta go. So, something like that. Like, turn the tables, you know what I mean? Because pretty much it's just getting to the point, the Resistance is now just a handful of militia fighters and stuff, and there's nothing really to build from that for a rebellion. A rebellion? Are you kidding me? The Hylian system was destroyed, but there's a new republic. Everyone would be going straight after the First Order. It's oh, you think you're gonna destroy our system, get away with it? Bitch. We're coming for you. That's, should happen. I'm following, this one follows along the threads of the original plot, so, yeah. But, it is what it is. And so, the ending here, so, the heroes, have a happy ending. Rey and Finn hug it out. Poe introduces himself to Rey. Luke and Leia hug, and Leia, hugs Chewbacca. Luke have their handshakes and stuff. Everyone's like, hey, what's up? Just all that stuff. And, they have this nice little victory and stuff. And then soon afterwards, though, the general's like, alright, we have our victory and stuff and all that. But now it's time to make plans to pursue the First Order, to go after them and beat them at their game and stuff, to wipe them out. And then Kylo Ren sits on the throne of the Supremacy, and the First Order officer, he could be an admiral, general, whatever, comes and kneels before him, or bow, or whatever, and he asks him what they shall do now, and Kylo tells them that they will need to regroup back in the unknown regions and think of a new offensive to take on this new Republic Starfleet. So, pretty much everyone that's there that helped out is pretty much the new Republic Starfleet. I guess Chandrilla would be the new capital of the New Republic. So then he opens a hologram of an ancient weapon that can be used to destroy the New Republic Starfleet, which is a virus, the old Imperial Bioweapons Project I-71A, pretty much the thing that was the zombie thing, from Death Troopers and Red Harvest. So he looks at that and says, we're going to pretty much use this, and we're going to spread it and stuff, and see where that goes. Because then, I know it's zombies in Star Wars. It's either that. What was the other thing I was looking at? Oh, the drum thing or whatever, the shock drum. Pretty much it's this device that you put on a planet or whatever, and it just causes this massive earthquake or something like that. I was thinking about that, but I don't know if that's something that would just work or whatever. But it was in the Old Republic game, I believe so. Well, it is, but it's something that's used to destroy planets. So they would have to think of new ways. because they would have to learn from their mistakes. Like, okay, literally, us repeating ourselves does not work. Like, but the only I heard a good thing. The reason why Star Wars Episode VIII is because even though it's a rehash of the Death Stars is that way the First Order seems like a threat, which is fine. But you can use other things to create new ideas to make them a threat instead of repeating things. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it on this alternative. I guess maybe I'll do another video today or tomorrow, something like that. And but yeah, it's just an alternative of what I thought of going along with the same lines and stuff and all that. But yeah, so tell me what you guys think. Like, I guess subscribe if you want to. I usually just don't ask that stuff. I just put these out here just for fun. But like it if you like these ideas. Put in comments with certain things and stuff that you would change. I mean, there's this one other idea I had that would give a better revelation of who Rey is and stuff and explain on Force powers, because I know this one doesn't do anything much for it, but it just leaves the mystery to be answered in the third one. But you get a little bit more of at least why she's there on Jakku or something like that, and explain the Force powers of her. Like, well, her parents must be someone who, like, her family must be strong with the Force. So I guess it gives a little bit of answers and stuff, but everything else could be answered in episode 9. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So yeah, just hopefully you enjoyed it and stuff. It's just my little thing, just giving an alternative to the movie. So, which I mean, come on, you gotta think about it. The whole thing with Poe and his fighters getting taken out, but then Luke just comes right in and stuff, and but I would just be like, yes, finally. Like, at least because you can just get the epicness of who he was with the starfighter pilot, and then you get some saber battles and stuff. So I pretty much deliver on that fan service. I know there's other things like going along, but I think someone else, there's one person I'm thinking of, I think he removed the Canto Bite part, if I'm not mistaken, like, because there's no reason, but I could have had something done with it anyways. But I will explain it in another video, because there's one alternative I have with the two things on it that actually follow the same thing in a way. But yeah, I'll just do that for another video. So yeah, that is it, and thanks for watching. I hope you liked it and stuff, that it gave you guys like some sort of thing where this movie could have gone. It's like, oh man, like this would have been cool, like this is what the movie should have been and stuff. So following along it in that way and stuff. But there's like another thing where I've said some other stuff on Dragon. So yep, that's it.